Welcome back to the Mic Check Podcast. You are now officially in the booth with Quinton, aka Q. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Mic Check Podcast. Today, we will be discussing the back and forth, on but off. Is it agreed? Is it not agreed? Lightweight title fight for the WBC title between Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin. Shakur Stevenson, who is a two-division world champion at 126 as well as 130 pounds. He was also unified at 130 pounds after his win over Oscar Valdez when he held the WBO and WBC titles, going up against Frank Martin, a highly touted lightweight world contender who is yet to fight on the title stage, on the world title stage, but has been well regarded by numerous people, including his now promoter, Errol Spence Jr. Now, coming into my plans were to speak about how good this fight was, how much I'm looking forward to this fight, because it was officially reported about 2 or 3 days ago that the fight was on and planned for Las Vegas on November 16th. That is a Thursday, that Top Rank was going to be putting on this fight card that would see a new world champion crowned in the lightweight division. But literally minutes before I went to record this video, news broke from Mike Coppinger, and I'll go ahead and bring that up for us so we can go ahead and take a look. Mike Coppinger says here, the Shakur Stevenson-Frank Martin fight for the vacant WBC lightweight title planned for November 16th in Las Vegas is now off, officially reported sources told ESPN. This comes a day after the WBC purse bid was canceled when both sides notified that a deal was reached. Top Rank sent the contract over to Martin's side, and the following day they were told that he was no longer interested in the fight, sources said. Now, obviously, this is just a report, so this is just something that is being reported on Twitter by Mike Coppinger. There has not been an official story been written by Mike just yet that I know of. But typically, if he's putting dates and things of this nature, typically a lot of these things come to fruition. But there is a small chance that maybe there's some miscommunication. Maybe Frank wants some different terms. Maybe there's some things he saw in the contract that he wasn't aware of that he wants to get adjusted. And maybe that has led Top Rank to say, you know what, forget it, the fight is off. Maybe that's the case. That's probably what the Errol Spence, Frank Martin, PBC fans are going to say, while the other side, the Top Rank guys, the Shakur Stevenson fans, people on that side of the street are going to say, well, no, it looks like Frank is just pulling a duck. Unfortunately, it's a disappointing idea to think that now this fight that everybody was probably looking forward to in the lightweight division is not going to happen. Typically, when you get guys agreeing and then not agreeing and then needing to change terms and this and that in negotiation, typically those fights do one of two things, in my opinion. They take a very, very, very long time to happen, or they simply don't happen at all. A great example is if you look at the Errol Spence Jr. versus Terrence Crawford fight that has been negotiated, been talked about, been argued about, been debated about for a very, very long time. Arguably took about 3 years too long to make. In my opinion, I thought that this fight was best suited for the 2019-2020 time period, prior to Errol Spence's car accident, and prior to Crawford reaching the age of 35 plus. And it's unfortunate because this fight between Shakur Stevenson and Frank Martin was effectively going to be one of the highlights of this fall's boxing schedule. Not only just because Frank Martin, a PBC guy who typically PBC or any real promotional outfit alone doesn't cross over, or their highly touted contenders don't cross over to other networks to have fights against guys who are on that side of the street, who are highly well promoted in those fights. But it looked like it was going to happen. But sometimes I guess things are too good to be true, and that may be the case in this situation because, a fight for Frank Martin against Shakur is clearly the most difficult fight of his career. And on the other end, for Shakur, it's probably the most difficult fight for him when you talk about fighting a guy like Frank Martin, explosive counterpuncher with some real pop and some real power behind his punches. So it's an unfortunate situation that boxing is being disappointed once again, or disappointing its fans once again because of this situation. Hopefully there's a turn in events that can lead Mike Coplinger's report that just came out to be wrong. But it looks like, at least at this point, the Shakur Stevenson Frank Martin fight is off. Now what we have to think about is what's the next move going to be? I've been saying for months that I was hoping that Frank Martin would get a Gervonta Tank Davis fight, with Devin Haney confirmed to be moving up to 140 pounds. Maybe Gervonta gets elevated to full WBA champion, and then maybe Gervonta wants to offer Frank Martin a chance to win his belt. That's a possibility. Obviously, that fight probably makes Frank more money, but it could also be a more difficult fight to win. Just depends on, how you tout Frank Martin's skill and how it matches up to a style like Shakur with a pure boxer, or a counter-punching power guy like Gervonta Davis. Depends on what you like. So maybe that's the reason why he pulled out of this fight. Maybe they felt like this would be a better situation for him. Or maybe there's another belt, maybe the IBF, which I know that George Kambosos is eyeing a fight for, and that potentially could be happening against Vasily Lomachenko. And then really that only leaves one other belt when you talk about the WBO belt at 135 pounds. I don't think that Frank is highly ranked in that organization. And I will look it up real quick just because I'm on here mentioning it. But I don't think that he's ranked highly in that sanctioning body's rankings. So I doubt that he would be able to get a vacant title shot so quickly. The WBO's top, yeah. Frank Martin is ranked number 6 in the WBO. He's ranked number 6 in the IBF. He's ranked number 2 in the WBC, which was the fight that we thought we were going to get with Shakur Stevenson. And he's ranked number 3 in the WBA. So more than likely, I would guess that if he's pulling out of this fight, hopefully it's for a good reason, and it's because he's going to be getting a title fight against maybe a Gervonta Davis for the WBA title if he gets elevated. But, I would have rather seen the Shakur fight, just my personal opinion, because it was a fight that looked like it could be made. While I want the Gervonta Tank Davis fight against Frank Martin happen, there's been no rumors, there's been no offers that I know of, there's been no reports that that's even a fight that's been entertained by PBC. Maybe it is, and it just hasn't been spoken about, but I haven't heard anything about it. Well, that's all we have for now, folks. You guys leave your comments in the box down below. Please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be doing some more boxing updates as fight news approaches, as we really get ramped up, and we look forward to the end of this month when we get back into some big fights here on this side of the shores in the U.S. You guys have a good night. Peace.